Hi and welcome everyone to our 67th episode of The Little Inside. My name is still Tobi, and this week I'm going to talk a little bit about attachment to meditation. So let's get started right after the intro. Sometimes in my earlier days when I was still studying at the monastery, sometimes I read texts in which a certain attachment to meditative states was mentioned, and that one should be careful not to get attached to the meditative bliss states that arise in deep absorption and deep meditative states and so forth. So naturally then I developed sort of an opinion about it, and with that also over the years some sort of fear to go deeper into meditation because I might get really attached to those bliss states. And well, then I came to Phuket. I met my teacher here, and I listened to one of his talks one evening, and after the talk he was actually talking about how nice meditation is and how joyful and relaxing it is. And then this evening after the class was finished, I asked him this question: well, should one not get attached? Should one be worried about getting attached to those states or not? And his answer was really plain and simple. This time a little bit embarrassing, I must admit. Actually, he said, well, first you need to get to those states, then we can talk, right? So this is a very wise answer. And with that comes, of course, there is an opening. I've heard this, and now I was more open. So I was more open as a result to deeper states of meditation. I found a bit of a different axis because now I felt like, hey, it's okay to enjoy myself. And so I studied more about deeper states of meditation, and with more and more practice, kind of doors open up for myself. I noticed that my meditation is naturally getting deeper. It feels better. It's more easy to enjoy myself because this opinion, this idea that I shouldn't get attached to deeper bliss states was now removed. And of course there might be other factors, but that just was one little hindrance, something that was on my mind very much in the background, and yet still some sort of hindrance. So meditation leads to a blameless joy. That's something even the Buddha himself actually calls a blameless happiness. And what is this, a blameless joy or a blameless happiness? It is a happiness, a joy, that comes from a refined state of your own mind. It comes from a mind at rest, a still mind, a peaceful mind, a mind well trained. And this restful, peaceful, happy state is something that comes from the inside out. So it's a bit different from the happiness that most people in this world really know, which is a happiness that arises with adding stuff to yourself. So you might have something that's out there that you want, and once you get what you want, then you feel happy. That's the kind of happiness that we know. Ooh, baby, when I spend so much time with you, I feel so happy. That kind of happiness. I need my baby to spend time with her. I need my wife. I need my best friends. I need to have a beer. I need to, I don't know, whatever it is that we consider to be nice, but I need to add it onto myself. Once I have added it onto myself, then I feel happy. Then I feel good. So this is the happiness that arises from the idea of consumption and production. Here's something that I produce, which is great for you to consume, and so it will lead to more happiness. Both the production process should lead to more happiness, and both the consumption process, of course, leads to more happiness. But what about real happiness or true happiness, blameless happiness? Well, blameless happiness is entirely different, as it is not based on adding something to yourself, but on actually letting go of the stuff that doesn't allow you to naturally be happy. You could actually say that the mind, once you strip it of all the unnecessary crap that we have accumulated through an entire lifetime is naturally happy. It feels naturally splendid. It feels great. If your mind is calm, focused, still, there's naturally, it's just vibrating with happiness. It just feels good in the body. It feels good in the mind, because there is nothing that acts as a burden, that's pulling you down, that's heavy. That's gone. So all these things that are burdensome, we let go of them in meditation. And as a result, happiness arises naturally. It is not something that has to be created. In fact, the more obstacles, the more dirt, the more crap we let go of, the happier we naturally are. Think of a man that's lost in the jungle, and he wants to find his way out of the jungle. So now he's desperately looking for the way out, and he's moving around in circles, and it's this big Amazon jungle. So he can't possibly find a way out of it. He's totally lost. And one day he meets another man, and he asks him, "Do you know the way out?" And the man says, "Yes, I do. I've marked all the trees with a red color, and if you follow those red colored trees, you will find a river, and then you follow the river downstream, and you will eventually come to a village, and there is transportation as your way out." Now, the man has a way out of the jungle, right? That doesn't mean that he already is out of the jungle. He still has to make some effort to follow the marked trees, and then get to the river, follow the river downstream, get to the village, and get some transportation, and finally get out of the jungle. Once the man is outside of the jungle, then there is no more need to follow the red marked trees to come to the river, etc. The need for that is then not there anymore. But as the man is still trapped in the jungle, there is a need for a proper procedure to get out of the jungle. If the man doesn't want to get out of the jungle, that's a whole nother story. But if he wants to get out of the jungle, there is a proper path, and this path cannot be denied. Many people nowadays, they kind of like to deny that there is a path. You come across these kind of spiritual ideas very often where people say, like, everything is consciousness, just let go, just be, there is nothing to do, doing is not the path to liberation, on what are all these kind of ideas that exist around, it's all in the being, just let go of all spiritual gymnastics, don't do nothing, just be. While this is essentially correct, it also cannot lead out of the jungle if you are feeling that you're out of the jungle. So it's like the man that's in the jungle and he's totally lost, and then someone tells the guy, just feel like you're out of the jungle and everything will be fine, and then he will sit down there and feel like he's out of the jungle, and that's nice, but nothing will happen because he doesn't follow the steps. So following the steps is really, really important. And one of the most important steps is to train the mind, to still and calm the mind, so that it gives you a sort of temporary, powerful refuge. You have a dwelling place inside of yourself that is very happy, very relaxed. And as you have that happiness and that relaxation, the spiritual path becomes really, really easy, uncomplicated. Your eyes are opening wide and you see truth very clearly due to your mind being empowered by happiness and bliss. So it is not only just a blameless happiness that we should indulge in a little bit, it's very necessary for the path to develop a still mind, and the happiness that comes from a still mind is a really nice side effect that the Buddha encouraged us to enjoy. So this is really important. You can't just say, well, don't attach to happiness. It's important to know the right types of happiness. Sure, we don't want to attach to happiness that comes with harm. That's a different story. But the happiness that comes out of your own mind, which is well trained, that is something that I would encourage you to attach to, because it leads you right out of the jungle of doubt, confusion, fear, and towards liberation and the end of suffering. So that's the whole point of the path, isn't it? Very often the Buddha also gives this example of, he calls nirvana or enlightenment, he calls it an island that we get to. And so you can get there with a boat. You can get to this island with a boat. If you're on the boat and it's your vehicle to get to this island, and suddenly you say, well, don't attach to the boat, because attachment, there is no attachment in nirvana, there is no attachment at the state of enlightenment. So you say, okay, so therefore I should not attach to the boat. Well, you're going to drown. So before you can let go completely, it requires a very skillful step-by-step process. Before we can enter what is timeless, we need to make very wise and skillful use of time, so that thereby we follow a cause and result process, a proper process, whereby we are completely empowered in the end to reach the island and completely let go. So meditation is an open invitation to enjoy yourself deeply. And I think you absolutely should enjoy yourself. The more blameless and refined your joy, the more powerful and still your mind is, the more you benefit this world. You will benefit your family, your friends, your own life, your work. Everything benefits from someone who is truly balanced and happy. And if you don't have that balance yet, well, I encourage you to practice it until you come to a point where you see for yourself the positive impacts of good mental training. So this is pretty much it for this week, and I hope you enjoyed it and hope it clarified a few points as well. If you do have any questions though, you want to comment, feel free to write your comments down in the comment section below. I'm always happy to read your guys' comments. And well, for now, I wish all of you a fantastic next week and look forward to see all of you again next Wednesday. Bye-bye.